I thought it's me. But if you're talking about the chef, if you're talking about the chef, then, you know, we have a chef. His name is Frank, and he's insane cook. Like, okay, chicken nuggets that he makes, they are like crisp on the outside and very soft on the inside. And they are like, you know, the previous chef would make them a little bit dry, but those ones are like really soft and not dry at all. Those are like the best chicken nuggets I had. Like, insane chicken nuggets. Like, so good chicken nuggets. Like, you know, chicken nuggets are really easy to make, but it's really hard to make them well. It's like playing solo, you know? You can be gold 3 and you think you're good, but you're actually really bad, right? So like those chicken nuggets that he makes, they're like at least master tier or like diamond 1, you know? In promos or something.
Actually, yes, they're so juicy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to European LCS. Holy moly. I'll tell you what, that may not have been the crispest play on the outside we had, Stress, but we had some real juicy action, just like these chicken nuggets. Oh, you want me to keep? All right, cool. Enough about this. Let's get ready for game 2. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be a great one, I think. Vitality, they're going to find a way to answer back. They had really, really clean play for a while, and they managed. They just barely managed to like kind of get these leads. They built it up. H2K, they just played a little better in those team fights, though. I mean, what do you think about that? Yeah, okay, good. Man, that was good. Yanko's at a point, man. That's great stuff. All right, but let's stop being so silly right now. Let's get back into the action. Let's get into the game plan. Vitality not playing for too much, right? They are playing to try to upset the apple cart, try to get in H2K's head maybe. Seemed like they did it for game 1. I want to see what they can bring out. Some different picks maybe coming this time around. We had the Kled. What are we going to see again? All right, I'll do this one. I'm going to soul cast for a little bit. That's good. It's all right. Stress really likes the chicken nuggets, guys.
Wow. Okay.
He's back.
All right. Champion select, let's go.
Olaf is banned. I can do that much for you.
Okay, good. That's a good nugget of information heading into this pick ban phase.
All right.
So.
There's the Malzahar, and they're following up. It's still Renekton up top, so you see what H2K is focusing on. They want to, this time, put Kabashard on the back foot.
Putting in a lot of focus now on that top side, as you said. I wonder whether Vitality will stick to their support focus. Karma was the other ban they had alongside that Malzahar. Renekton obviously has now changed priority with H2K banning that away. Interested to see how this is going to continue through. A lot of differences now in this ban phase. Rengar gets taken away.
Yeah, so they don't want to give... Well, Joker was the one who was trying to make the plays on. They definitely don't want to give it over to Jankos, but, I mean, you can't ban this guy out. He's got a Champion Ocean.
Champion Ocean. I like that,
I haven't used that one for a while. You know what? That's a Frostgrin one. I think it goes all the way back there.
Good description. I like it. So H2K, where are we going right now? Last game, obviously Rengar was the first pick for Vitality. H2K had Ashe, Lulu in their first rotation.
3 top lane bans. Okay, the Olaf is a flex ban against Vitality, obviously. Okay, you're right. So, I mean, they've really taken a lot out of there, but it seems like they are really focused up towards the top side of the map.
Camille's still available.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get banned out here, which would leave Lulu up if they wanted it. Or the Nautilus. Nautilus first pick might be a thing that H2K would be very happy with and just say, okay, that's fine.
Oh, it's the Rumble ban, so this leaves Camille up. Does Auto Omni first pick this?
So if they Camille here, it gets answered by Shen. As Shen is available, that would be the likely pick.
He's almost never been available on this patch. I mean, this could be a very, very different pick in ban phase.
Could be. He always hovers Rumble.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Do you mean Rammus?
Yeah, Rammus. Sorry.
Yep. It's okay. It's supposed to start with R. Get your pass. It's a Camille pick for H2K. And that, I would say it's top lane, but we have seen some diversity there.
Now, I know we're talking, this is a hover. I would love to see somebody try the Cho'Gath, but obviously had that adjustment on 7.5. Hasn't fully found all of his stacks yet.
No,
not quite as strong as on 7.6. I don't think it'll be the Cho'Gath. It's probably the Ashe Lulu coming out here, out of Vitality.
I would have loved to see that. And Vitality don't have anything to lose, so it would have been nice. But the Ashe picked up. It's a safer choice, gives them better laning pressure now. Steelback has that in his hands. What do they take here in answer? There's still a lot of strong top laners.
Ooh, it could be the jungle matchup as well. They look to prioritize. Graves is up. Has been banned in a lot of the series.
Let's see what they do. A couple seconds ticking away. Joko's going to lock in. The Graves does make a lot of sense here. They're going more standard, and it's locked.
Yeah, locked in. Now will the Lulu get taken, or the Tahm Kench out of H2K? They obviously played Tahm Kench last, Vitality played Tahm Kench last game as Hachani got betrayed by Joko during the game.
That was unfortunate. Dare I say, a little unlucky.
Just a little unlucky.
I mean, you got to measure your blast cone physics, and Fortunately, that time around, they didn't have it right on the mark. The Ezreal's locked in for nuclear. See if they follow through here. It's a lot of power in that Camille. We still don't know where that's going, but you got to think Odoamne is going to be the one wanting that champion.
Yeah, you have to imagine. So, I mean, this Ezreal is a lot more of a defensive champion, stays alive a lot.
There we
Karma
go.
paired alongside is a great setup. Yes, you can have burst damage in the lane. Doesn't really always work out that way. I'm expecting Nuclear and Jade to play this very safe in the bot lane and kind of farm it out up against his Ashe.
Oh, yes, indeed. Nuke Duck. All eyes on what he's going to take, but it won't be for a while since they still need a support. It's a Thresh lock-in for Hachani. All right, it's the last pick of Phase 1. Finishes up there.
Very difficult to catch Ezreal with Thresh. Karma is going to be the main target of this, and obviously with just shields and no real overall sustain outside of mantering like W in an exchange, it can be difficult for Karma to survive through. So we got our bot lanes locked in. We assume it's top lane Camille and Vitality. Will they turn their attention over to Jankos as well here? Because there's still a lot available for him if he wants the Kha'Zix.
Oh, yeah.
If he wants the Elise, both still available.
Yeah, but they actually focus their attention on the mid for that first ban in Phase 2 with the Orianna taken off the board. H2K, they ban out the Kennen against Cabo Shard. Not wanting to deal with that one in the top lane matchup. There's the Kha'Zix ban away. Wouldn't be too surprised if he just takes Elise in and answer. Doesn't really have to worry about too much.
Yeah, very true. Jankos also very comfortable on that Lee Sin as well. A lot of picks still available for him. Wonder whether he'll go with something a little unorthodox. We've started to see a few other junglers come through the meta in solo
We saw
queue.
Warwick yesterday from the Unicorns. Jankos is the other guy that's played it.
We've seen solo queue Kindred tearing things up. Oh, yeah. Haven't seen it in competitive play here in Europe in a long, long time.
Well, no Kled this time around either, so they ban out some of the carry tops that Cabo Shard can come to bear up in the top lane. Might see a different matchup now.
I would imagine the Shen will be the matchup that comes out here with Renekton not available.
Yep.
Na can get bullied somewhat by Camille. It is a little bit closer of a skill matchup than a lot of things. Or you can do something we saw in Challenger a few weeks back.
Roccat.
Or in Roccat. This might actually be Swain top.
Potentially to
it's a flex pick
play
right
into
now.
the Camille. Yeah, I mean, that's something very different.
Cabo has a lot of experience playing Swain in days gone by. Originally, when Maokai very first started getting put into the top lane, we also saw a bunch of Swain. This is like years and years and years back before Cabo ever made it to the LCS. Pulse and I used to cast a bunch of Challenger leagues, not under the LoL Esports banner, and Cabo Shard would always pick up things like this Swain. Could very well be a flex up the top lane.
Wow.
It's good at holding Camille in place because you don't build Executioner's Calling in her build until very, very late on, if ever at all.
All right, so that can be the lane counter if it ends up getting played that way. But for H2K, as the timer ticks down, you'll see their final lock-in. It's the Elise. That's an early game jungler. They have the Syndra. They have the Camille. That's a lot of power for this team. Looks like H2K, they could be looking for some early skirmishes themselves.
Oh, is it going to be a Nuke Duck special on that is it?
Hold the thought on H2K, because I want to see what they lock in
We've got the Syndra for now, coming out from H2K. So what is the matchup? Orianna not available. What do they want up against this Syndra?
They're having fun right now.
Yeah, Echo
That's
is
the
a good
Echo.
one. Yeah. So it's Swain top, Echo mid up against this Syndra. Good matchup in both favors for Vitality. Swain is an unorthodox matchup, but is very good at containing Camille. Echo obviously is a quote-unquote counter, near hard counter to Syndra once you both hit 6, because almost impossible to kill Echo if the Echo player is playing correctly. So H2K, maybe they have to look for an advantage coming from the bottom side of the map, but with this Elise, Jankos, you can always look at these lanes. There's kill pressure in every single one. If he ends up hitting that cocoon, there's enough damage to carry it into a kill and a setup for a snowball for H2K.
Very true. Could be a possibility. H2K do like to set those things up early on. It's one of the reasons Jankos thrives on these early game pick-focused champions. Will it be enough to net H2K the 2-0 win? Vitality throwing the curveball this time. The old Cabo Shard favorite is Swain top.
It's been so long. Like, people will hear that and be like, what are you talking about?
That's like Febibin's mid-ribbon. Like, that's how far back you have to go.
Right, exactly. It actually is. It's a fun one, though. We had this matchup in Challenger a couple of weeks back and really did a great job of holding the Camille. You actually can't afford to trade against Swain because it takes too long to kill him. So you end up losing all of your health, the never move hits, and suddenly this Swain is just walking around in the lane, and you can't do anything against him.
Hard and hard. Let's see if H2K can outplay that. Big power in that top laner. He has pretty much been top of the charts since he entered the LCS. Let's see if he's able to do it again in this matchup. Let's see if H2K can take themselves to 2-0 over Vitality. Even though there's not much to play for, this team has proven that they are scrappy. They are ready to rock and roll. We'll see if they can take it to H2K as we load onto the Rift for game number 2 in our best of 3.
We'll see if this unorthodox setup is good enough for Vitality or if they've bitten off more than they could chew, just like me at the beginning of this segment. I did not think it would take that long to eat 2 chicken nuggets, but
well, you learned. You had to
we
learn
got
sometime.
there in the end.
We did, and we'll get here in the end as well. We're onto the Rift. H2K, of course, on the Corrupting Potion start versus a Doran's Ring for Cabochard. I definitely want to check in on that top and see how things go in there. But you always have to watch the jungle matchup whenever Jankos is involved. All right.
Vitality yelping.
They were clearly surprised. Oh no, Che! Oh man, he wasn't watching right about then. It's first blood to Steelback.
The teams are killing the magic.
Man. All right, so
we knew something was coming.
So it can be hard to land those hooks on the Thresh, but not when you stand still for him.
Oh, Hachani flashes out of the bush, gets the hook. Beautiful, beautiful level 1.
Yeah. All right, let's see it
They
again.
killed it. I don't know whether the yelp was caught.
I think that's when they saw him go out.
Yeah. So, Hachani.
Boom.
Oh, that was... Did they really not even know? So hang on, I need to go even further back than that. I'm just going to check on my screen. I was caught by surprise with the yelp that I looked up at what Vitality were doing and missed the setup again.
Caught me by surprise too, I'll tell you what. And Che, I guess no one's more surprised than him. A lot of summons burnt, both the supports, but now we're back to lane. The kill difference though for Steelback, is that going to be enough to help him? When he pushes back, he was able to buy a longsword to complement his Dorans.
So, to set up that play, you have to go even further back in that exchange. About 10 seconds before the flash, Che stepped out of the bush 10 seconds before, and then Hachani flash hooked blind into the bush, knowing that Che would be in the path of the hook. Gets the hook, gets the kill. Great start, like, kudos to Hachani. Oh, now mid lane, Nukdog wants to try and kill Febiven.
He talked about this being the big counter. Now he's stepping
Joko's
forward.
here.
Joko's come right
Febiven.
around the side, forces the flash. No ghost now because Febiven's just run out of it. But man, 2 summers. This is a real action-heavy start.
Yeah, this is what we like. Vitality taking it to H2K. They know they're a game down. They want to steal some of the chicken nuggets for themselves.
They're making it juicy, that's for sure. Jankos is going to be heading into Vitality's jungle, or rather heading into a collision course with Joko, I should say, as he takes the blast cone over. Doesn't know he's there yet. Neither jungler knows.
Joko's only level 2 though, so really has to be careful if he ends up crossing paths with Jankos.
Jankos is going hunting. He's going to be getting a blue buff for himself though, or will he be able to finish it off in time? Smite's about to come back up off cooldown.
Yeah, it's all going to be about smiting Joko or around the corner.
Oh, game's up.
Well,
he knows.
This is awkward.
Oh, hello. It's like when you come back home and you catch the burglar in your house.
I've never had that. Have you had that?
No, but I imagine it's like this.
That would terrify me.
Doesn't terrify Joko though. Keeps a cool head, smites it down.
Yeah, Jankos was kind of caught in the headlights there, runs back out of the jungle, and Joko gets away with it actually. Like they get the flash from Febiven, they got the kill in bot lane. Jankos doesn't successfully take the blue buff. It's a good start for Vitality again. I remember game 1 was good too. Like they snowballed heavily from Cabochard. Now it's Joko's turn to try and invade. He has been spotted,
to do it. Yeah, they pinged on him here, and he looks like he was taking his time. No, he's taking Raptors away. So a lot of jungle camps traded back and forth, but is Joko in some trouble?
Nukdog's already coming across,
boy.
I think they may just end up killing Jankos here. He still is quite low from red.
Yeah, but so is Joko right now. Has to hop back off, and the fangs don't do enough damage. Joko lives.
Joko just survives through. Jankos was hoping that red buff would tick faster, but not to be. 2 kills, the lead for Vitality. Great start from them.
That's what we said last time around, but they're making some pretty aggressive plays here, and we wanted to check in on top, but everything's been happening elsewhere around the map. Let's see what Cabochard can do. He's kept H2K 8 CS behind so far.
Yeah, Cabochard is very difficult to deal with. You just throw out that the bird, and it does so much damage.
Speaking of so much damage, Steelback, or Nukdog, I should say, dishing damage onto Febiven. Getting my carries mixed up right there, and H2K commanding an overwhelming percentage of the fan vote right here, but can't take it away from Vitality. They still have started off excellent in this game. 1,500 gold lead. Joko dodges the cocoon.
Holds his nerf. Didn't flash, nothing like that. Doesn't have it available, actually. Still from the earlier exchange.
There's been a lot of action around the map, and we'll see if that continues as this game continues to unfold. H2K going in, potentially
He's
for a
got
plan
that
to
flash. They're going to lock down Featherman.
Oh, the hook, it's going to go right in easy, and he flays back up. Featherman knows he's a dead man, and H2K secures the kill.
Gets a kill for himself. We talked about it earlier and how this Thresh in lane maybe not really effective against the Ezreal. Well, take it out of the lane.
Yeah,
maybe
hook
hook the
in the
Karma
lane
every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty straightforward hook. Featherman had no flash available, and look at this. Joker just continues to try and take camps away from Jankos. He's making his life hard.
He's 20 jungle CS up. Like, jungle CS normally doesn't mean too much, but the fact that Jankos is only on 8, Joko's been getting like Raptors, hasn't gone to Krugs
He got his blue back and everything too.
This is where Jankos looks like he's going to even it up, right? He's on Krugs, so he's going to get all of that little numbers ticking up.
Yeah, I mean, the jungle CS doesn't always mean as much as it looks like because of the varying gold values, but
it translates into 500 gold, though, in favor of Joko this early on. That's actually around about a quarter of the actual gold they have right now. Joko has as an advantage.
That's pretty big.
It's pretty significant.
Especially when you're on a Graves, it's going to want to scale up.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, also denies Jankos any ability of heading top and trying to even up with Odo Amne. Both TPs were used.
Yeah, glad you mentioned top. Odo, he is getting the push on, but he's having a hard time. And in all honesty, the last game, it seemed a little bit difficult for him too in a matchup that he wasn't given the advantages in.
And importantly, Swain has that catalyst, so you're able to survive through. So you can see Cabo had a decent setup in game 1. At least in the early game, ended up having a lot of damage coming through.
Yeah, this only tells part of the story.
Yeah, and Cabochard maintained the CS lead for the entire game, basically, and was able to really force Odo Amne into a tough spot until very late on.
Yeah, and that's honestly quite surprising that he's not. Obviously, he's getting like a weird couple of matchups, matchups that he can win, things that he knows. But Odo Amne is this kind of top laner that you can give him a winning matchup or a losing matchup, and he tends to do just fine. So it's pretty impressive that Cabochard's been able to put him on the back foot 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it's been good. The return, perhaps, of the Cabochard from days gone by, where we've put him up in the upper echelons of top laners. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Jankos is still a level down against Joko. Really struggling on this Elise. Typically, you want to try and get into the lanes and snowball, but Jankos has had enough difficulty getting into his own jungle. It's been really tough.
Yeah, Joko's been taking everything away from him right now, and this is what's so surprising is that Jankos has just been set so far behind. Let's see if he can get a little bit back here. He gets the ward into the river. Gonna go for possibly a lane gank out of Cabochard. He stepped far forward, but he does have flash.
Yeah, Cabo even put a ward down in the river, so Jankos knows he can't really come through the regular entrance. There's no blast cone there to get him over the wall. And Joko is even topside in case of a lane gank. And that is, you know, the fear of that top lane gank is prevalent in Vitality's minds. And you can see, here's where Odo Amne has to get himself away. It's a tough matchup here, because Cabochard, as long as he's got mana, can out-trade this Camille at almost all points.
Giving Odo Amne a seriously hard time with it for sure, and without the jungler assistance, looks like Odo Amne might be on his own for a little while. There's still a lot of carry potential in this Camille. We saw Odo come alive towards the back half of last game. It's only 8.5 minutes in though, and Vitality, they have a pretty sizable gold lead over H2K.
Jankos trying to get in, try and find Joko, try and see if there's a red buff available. It's not there. And that means H2K won't get anything from that invade on the top side. Pings have gone down from Vitality on the bot side red buff, the one that H2K normally would have control of.
All right.
They take spotted.
To see if they can get a pick off here. H2K and Joko are actually going to head back towards the lane. And thought they might be going for a dive, but it looks like they're just trying to play it safe and clear vision out.
It's all about the red buff. They're trying to just deny Jankos as much experience as possible. Joko will get this and will extend his experience lead. Jankos has been left basically this game to farm his Krugs over and over and over. These smaller camps that aren't worth the same. You can see Joko again takes the Raptors away.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, if this continues, Stress, like, what is the game plan for Jankos right now? Does he just go, forget the AP, I gotta go tank and just try to hold the line for my team?
Yep, go tank, become a cocoon bot, try and just catch a carry on the side, of a fight. It's difficult, but at the same time, that is how at least defaults to when behind. Some players will default to full AP and say, I'm going to try and carry this game, but when you're already down, it's not exactly going to be the way to play it out.
Sad spider. .jpg. Well, fortunately for Jankos, everybody has bad games, but when you spend so much effort on shutting him down, Vitality are hoping to pay his dividends here. Febivin can't get the scout of the week out onto Nukeduck, who goes back in for round 2. Here's Jankos, but he doesn't want to take the fight. He sends the cocoon onto Hachani before flashing away. There's the Ash Arrow, and they find Jankos, and Joko blows him away.
Good combination out of Vitality. They're going diving here. Febivin doesn't know the Cabo shots.
Oh no, it's the Swain! Crowstorm! For a kill.
And suddenly under the tower, Febivin is nevermore. As H2K 0-5 down against Vitality. Vitality are going to push in for this mid tower. This has been a good draft out of Vitality, getting 2 winning matchups and then the jungle matchup going in their favor. Joko has heavily punished Jankos, and Vitality, just like game 1, are giving H2K the runaround early on.
Yeah, and they managed to get themselves first tower blood on top of those 5 kills. Odo is going to try and answer, but man, Vitality, they're playing bold, they're playing big, and H2K are falling for the trap.
Odo Amne had teleported back up to the top lane. Kabashad was farming out behind Odo Amne's tower. He actually had pulled the wave all the way back. Odo Amne TP'd back into the lane, knowing he needed to stop any threat onto his tower, and Kabashad just goes, okay, I'm TPing out. Goodbye.
Here's
you can see the end of the channel up in topside here. Kabashad doesn't cancel his recall, but ends up TPing into the fight anyway. As Vitality, point blank arrow, easy landing onto Jankos, and Kabashad's already here.
And Febivin, he thinks he's out of harm's way. Kabashad's able to walk it in. He turns on the Ravenous Flock, and I mean, he even flashes in to finish this one.
Yeah, he had to make sure that he got the damage down. You can see Kabashad's not quite tanky enough to be able to just survive through everything under a tower at 10 minutes.
Well, that's why they call it a murder of crows. I know my literary references.
Well, we'll see if it turns into a Feast of Crows.
Oh, hey.
As this goes on.
Well, it's Feast of Dragons right now, at least. Joko gets one. Doesn't have to dance with him. Nukeduck on the bottom side, making Nuclear's life a little hard. There's a lot of Vitality vision in this H2K jungle here, and it's a result of them being able to execute the dives up top. You see what Jankos is trying to do, but can Kabashad be ganked?
Look at the ult time. Ooh, Joko has to back away. Look at the ult time of Kabashad. That's the key one.
Still on cooldown after having taken out Febivin, and Jankos, he repels right into the ward. Joko's having a hard time getting back to base, though.
Chani and Steelback are coming up. They have been spotted, I believe, on a ward, which, yeah, that control ward. Chani can't clear it out just yet, but he knows that he has to go in and clear that out just after.
Jankos will finally find a buff.
Finally.
Well, actually, he might have to give it to Febivin.
Yeah, he will do at this point. Has equalized up some of the experience disadvantage that he had. Joko, an attempt on bottom side that got denied, and then Jankos having time on the top side to clear out a few camps. Has given Jankos the time he needed, but Kabashad with an unorthodox pick, an unorthodox build.
Very effective, though, so far in this game. Hextech GLP. I mean, he's never run out of mana.
Yeah, he's got that Hextech hose, just slowing him down, getting him with that ice water.
Yeah, we really don't see that on anything but Aurelion Sol.
It's, yeah, like Aurelion Sol, and that's it. So we're seeing it on Swain. We used to see the Rod of Ages build come out on Swain.
Before it was changed, right?
Yes, exactly. And he ended up just kind of only building tank. Now, what you really need until someone gets an Executioner's Calling is just mana. Just get as much mana and as many slows and as many like Zonyas, you name it, and you suddenly like get all of your health back.
Yeah, easy peasy. All right, Vitality are looking to push in to try and finish off a turret in the bottom, but meanwhile, focusing some pressure on the mid, pushing Febivin back, seeing if they can get deeper into this jungle. Are they going to set up a dive onto Odo Amne?
They can. Blast cone right onto a control ward, but
see it.
Hachani's already cutting off Odo Amne.
See if they can get him here. Oh! The hook is flashed. Odo at the last second. That was pixel perfect.
Yeah, nice hook out of Hachani, though, at the same time. Predicted the placement and then forced the flash. And now it's going to transition into a tower in the top side. Nukeduck should be able to hold bot side. I think he can, maybe with parallel convergence and the Q, hold on.
Yeah.
Even 1v3.
There goes.
Ooh, gets stunned up.
Yeah, not that much damage. Whoa, he was going 1v3 onto Jankos, and he snaps back, throws another Time Winder Nuclear, and he has held the line well. His teammates take out top turret.
And now look at this. Odoamne heading mid.
Oh boy, into the ultimatum. Hachani hooks Febvin right back in, and Steelback is unfortunately going to leave him for dead. Not much he could do there.
The trade still goes in favor of Vitality, though, with the tower going down in the top lane.
They're still pushing.
They've been looking so much better in the early game than we've seen in weeks. Like, where's this Vitality been?
I guess they were playing a little bit scared, Stress. It seems to change a little bit when you don't have to worry if losing is going to push you down in the standings because they're pretty safely locked in that 4th place spot. Now, Cabo Shard may have overstepped his bounds here as Odoamne walks in the lane, but no ultimatum means there will be no fight.
And the danger there wasn't necessarily just Odoamne, it was the fact that Jankos was around the corner. There were more members of H2K. Vitality can take the 1 versus 1 in the side lane with Cabo Shard against Odoamne or Nuke Duck against Febvin, but as soon as more people join in, it is not really possible. They are in a good spot for it, but Odoamne not even at his Trinity Force yet.
I mean, it's nice work on being able to apply side pressure all the time, and Vitality, it's given them 3 towers to the 0 of H2K. This team has only been able to find 1 kill. We just saw it a few minutes ago with Hachani being locked up in the Hextech ultimatum. It's all that H2K have been able to find on this game, and that is why it is a 5,500 gold disadvantage.
Steelback opting for that Blade of the Rune King build, where you just end up getting a whole bunch of Q stacks on people because of the fast autos. I feel like you might have enough time in fights with an Echo, with a Swain. There's so many threats that it's not all about just all-inning the Ashe, taking her out, and that's it for the fight. Vitality have got so much more.
Vitality do have quite a lot, and they have done something, honestly, no other team has been able to do against this H2K squad. This is the largest goal deficit at 15 minutes that H2K have had at Spring. And honestly, it's Vitality's largest lead. It's a new day for this team. May not be able to make playoffs, but they are certainly looking in better form.
Yes, it is at this point. But Vitality, as you said, unfortunately, it's a little late for this kind of
but you know, Splice and Unicorns are watching this, and they are real happy right now.
Exactly, yeah. This is really playing spoiler. If Vitality finish this game and then take another one. It's a long road before it's a real benefit for Splice and Unicorns. But Pyro, I mean, we've been in this situation in the first game, right? Where Vitality had a good lead, ended up giving it away. Febvin, all he's got to do is land a couple of stuns. Jankos hit a few cocoons. Maybe they'll be able to set it up, but Jankos gets hooked in.
They got him. 3v1, he's going to go up, but what comes up must go down, and Joko takes a shotgun to the Spider. Chain Nuclear a little bit late. Try and get in there and defend, and Hachani's hooks, man, this game, they've been on point.
They've really been on point. H2K haven't had the numbers anywhere, really, to survive through. Febvin have gone up to the top lane. Now it's 2 versus 4 in the bot side in favor of Vitality, which means to get the tower. Again, great play in this early game from Vitality.
But I want to take a step back and look at what you were talking about with H2K, how they were able to come back. It was a big deficit, not as big as it is now, but what is the game plan for H2K? Because Jankos is a cocoon bot, as you said, but where are they going to find the damage?
They're going to get enough damage later on from this. Ezreal Trinity Force has already been complete. Camille will have damage. Syndra's always going to have damage as well. The problem is if they're giving away these trickle-down kills, where it's 1 kill here and there and it turns into a tower, turns into a dragon, Vitality will have a big enough lead to just push through because, again, no one's going to kill the Echo. No one's going to kill the Swain. And we need a lot more time for H2K to actually have the damage to be able to kill either of them.
Well, time is what they need, but it is 18.5 on the clock right now, and there's still a 6,000 gold advantage Vitality's way. They pick up a couple of Drakes in the process, and you can see where the vision is playing on that bottom side, but they've already knocked down the inner turret there, so Nuke Duck, not much for him to get on this side of the map, except maybe a pick. Looks like it's all about the vision game, though. Vitality continuing to play that one, and you can see they haven't changed their game plan. A lot of control wards in those inventories. H2K are trying to match this time around, but map control all for Vitality.
Yeah, always seems to be in Vitality's favor at this point of the game against H2K this series. Maintaining a strong sense of vision control on one side of the map, and that's good to see because it means Vitality have improved. From the weeks gone by where they weren't really doing anything, Vitality, we were saying they're the team that just does nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a far cry from that team for sure, and you know, it is a shame for them that it's happened so late in the split, but the growth is there. It's on display right now, and I don't know, see what they can do. Safe for summer split. Maybe we'll see a very different Vitality squad when that comes around.
Maybe. I mean, Vitality had like 5 different lineups this split. If they stick with the same one, it'll be a record breaker.
That was
Vitality.
that was the thing all along. You just needed to stick with the game plan.
That was the thing for Rocket.
Yeah, well, it worked. I mean, definitely worked out for that team. They're still potentially eyeballing a playoff spot, but that's all over in Group A. We looking at Group B, where things are honestly also not set in stone from the playoff standpoint. The seeding important. This game means a lot for that seeding. H2K took a walloping from the Unicorns last week, and they dropped games to Vitality here. There's question marks being raised.
Yeah, the groups are upside down, right? Group A, everybody knows who's first. Group B, everybody knows who's last. And everything else is kind of thrown up in the air. And nobody really knows where it's going to stick.
And it's so weird because it seemed very certain a couple of weeks ago, but we started to see a couple of upsets. We started to see changes in performance. It definitely took a while before it happened, but man, here we go. Week 7, Week 8, Week 9, it's all happening.
And again, if there's a fight with this Swain, Cabochard now has his Zhonya's available. It's another thing that makes him more difficult to kill. And again, Cabochard with a CS lead, not quite as big as in the last game, but significant nonetheless. 40 CS up, will be able to maintain the side wave. And now Feberman, he's still losing out to Nuke. This is the strength of winning side lanes, is they're now able to just push up on the towers, deny H2K's ability to defend properly, and over time, it's just going to go in Vitality's favor again and again.
Just like this fight. He's in trouble. Oh boy, he's going to have to hook shot over the wall, get back into the base. Joko dodging out of the tether of Che, and they may be able to clear waves for now, but Vitality are closing in. It's only 21.5 minutes, and they're looking to finish off some towers here in the inner side.
That Decrepify, the Q of Swain, the bird that goes on the floor and kind of tags a laser onto Odo Amne.
I like to call it Laser Bird.
Yeah,
it's a better name.
It makes it so difficult to actually CS or trade or do anything within melee range, and that's what makes it a good setup. And the fact that typically Camille needs expensive items. It's Trinity Force. It's something from a TM, either Ravenous or Titanic Hydra. These items take time to build, and it's only later you really want to end up giving away gold into an Executioner's Calling. Yes, it's only 800 gold, but it slows down your build path, and without it, you cannot deal with this Swain. It's a small buy, but as soon as you auto him once, that healing just gets shredded through, and Cabochard no longer can take such good trades. He's still got a fantastic lead against Odo Amne, even if there was an Executioner's Calling in the game right now.
Yeah, always have to keep in mind that H2K, they have comeback potential, but I mean, it's just so difficult because the odds just keep getting stacked against them, and it just hasn't happened here in Europe, in all honesty. No team's really recovered from a deficit that's this big at 20 minutes. They just haven't done it.
They haven't, but we've had a lot of teams come back in general. Like Unicorns have come back, H2K have had some of their own comebacks. I'm now really interested to see. One of our big criticisms for H2K coming into the last couple of weeks has been their late game fighting, has been suspect. It's kind of tripped them up a few times, but game 1 looked pretty good.
Yes, it did. Oh, Joko, dodging the cocoon. That could have been a real bad story for him. A lot of vision up in the top side of this jungle, but in the bottom, it's still H2Ks, and they're fighting tenaciously to keep Vitality out.
But all Vitality have to do is buy time, because somebody's going to have to go deal with Cabo, who's going up into the jungle, going to just warp and walk back down to bot lane when Odo shows up there. Here you go, Cabochard, pathing his way back in.
Oh, and they've caught Che. Joko, oh man, they just pincer him here with Steel back in the back there. Nuke Duck focusing on to Nuclear as Joko's picking up a rampage kill, looking for number 3, and Nuke Duck hopping the wall. The time winder's a bit short, but he snaps back before Febivan can dish the damage back onto him.
And now Vitality will continue this pressure on topside, looking for the tower. Neither Cabo nor Odo Amne teleported up into that fight, because if Odo Amne channeled it, he would have got denied by Cabochard. Same thing on the other side. So Vitality trying to maintain pressure in the bot lane, trying to maintain pressure around Baron, and it's 15 seconds still until Nuclear is available.
Teleport.
TP comes through. Swain is able to tank and deal a lot of damage to Baron at the same time, so we'll see. Vitality should have a quick shred on this Baron.
Hachani, he's going around, but Febivan is actually coming in the other side, and Hachani's going to have to flash away as Odo Amne comes in, gets a tack sweep on top of him. The Baron's going low, it is smited down, but will they secure the fight? Jankos falls right at the beginning. Hachani trying to live, but he goes down. Cabochard goes golden, and he goes right back in to try and clean up this fight. Febivan gets a big shutdown, but he's taken down himself as Che flashes away. It is a 2 for 3, but Baron secured by Vitality.
They secure it on 3 members, and most importantly, importantly, Echo with TP is one of them. He's coming in from the backside, looking for the dive under tower.
Oh dear, Che is gonna get fired down, and Nuclear, they turn onto him as well. Nuke Duck finding the damage, finding the angle, he even hops the wall to go back in, and he chrono breaks back to finish off the tower.
It's going to be enough to break the inhibitor here. Jankos is going to be up in 1 second. Still 13 on Feberman, 8 on Odo Amne. There's a Lichbane Echo. I think it's just the tower, and they'll back away here because Jankos gets there in time. But still, Vitality have done such a good job in this game of pushing H2K onto the back foot every single opportunity. And H2K let Vitality have winning lanes. You can't really anticipate it, that they're going to play Swain into Camille. It's such an obscure matchup that is available, but H2K drafted right into Vitality's hands, and Vitality have played it out beautifully.
Ooh, speaking of beautiful.
Yeah.
Joko knocking one back, and it's going to be another dragon here claimed by Vitality. And you could see, I mean, it isn't just the Cabo show, but he's definitely doing a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Nuke was barely even in that fight, put no damage down. Cabochard did a good job of zoning away everybody from that Baron for long enough that Joko secured it and then turned their attention onto H2K. Cabo's playing this out smart. He's going to back away. No real opportunity for H2K to capitalize on this. All Vitality have got to do is maintain this solid play, and they'll close this game out.
I mean, it was so brilliant to see how they were playing it out early on. The winning lanes that they drafted, the mind games in the pick and ban phase, but then to go for these big plays to let Hachani roam around, sinking the hooks where he needed to. Joko taking away jungle from Jankos. It's the kind of thing that, you know, it seems like a checklist that if you're looking at a team that isn't as good as H2K, you can pull off, but it's all the more impressive considering it is this H2K squad, a team that is still vying for a top spot, a playoff seed, and the way they're playing right now, it looks like they won't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say that the Unicorns have been looking more solid. Odo Amne,
Duck, he's going in, turns his attention to Jankos
like,
right now.
Easily.
Oh,
Easily.
man.
Nuke Duck still had Zhonya's, still had Protobell, used his ult, still had Flash.
Level difference between Jankos and Nuke Duck. That's what that'll do.
There are so many defensive components of Vitality's composition that H2K with an aggressive comp cannot capitalize. They are too far behind, and Vitality will walk this win in with Baron minions now. Like,
oh yeah, the snowball's become an avalanche at this point. Nuke Duck is keeping Odo Amne occupied.
Odo's gonna get dove here.
There's nothing he can do. They're gonna be able to take this one out. I mean, we're not 30 minutes in, Stress, and Vitality are looking to close this game out.
Yeah, then this has been a very solid game from them. H2K, we've gone past the point where small itemization differences would have actually saved them, because this was all about the lead that Vitality created earlier on in the game. Joko completely putting Jankos in his place in the early game. Like, Jankos couldn't find farm for the first 4 minutes of this game.
Oh yeah, it's been hard for him this time, and honestly, H2K have been hard-pressed to find a lot of gold for themselves. No towers in 28 minutes, 3 kills, no dragons. They've been outclassed on everything on the map right now, and well, here's the tale of that.
Yeah, I mean, so Nuke Duck still has all of his defensive items. Nice arrow came through, actually. We didn't catch that the first time around. Caught Jankos, was enough to get that kill. Nuke Duck is strong enough that he can just dive on anyone. There's no real ability to stay alive. Jankos wishing he was at home.
Yeah,
with the chef trying to
I knew you were
cook
going
up something
there.
Delicious, cook up a way to get back in this game.
Don't worry, I'm sure it will be, but maybe they're going to need to be looking at game number 3 right now as Nuke Duck. Okay, 2-on-1 didn't work. Maybe 3 will. Nuke Duck still on to Odo Amne. He gets stopped up, tagged, but Hachani coming in for the support around the side. Here comes the Ash Arrow. Odo's going to have to flash it, but the rest of the team is not so lucky. Nuclear burning down to 0. A double kill for Joko as he takes down Che. And it is Vitality pushing for the Nexus here.
Vitality are going to walk it in. Cabochard still very healthy. Feberman gets caught with some stat padding. Steelback's the one that gets the kill. Great game out of Vitality.
Excellent. They roll the snowball all the way to the finish line, and who'd have thunk it, Stress? We got a game 3 as Vitality tie up the series.
That was way better out of Vitality's late game closing. Like, that was actually pretty impressive.
Here's the thing. You don't need to worry about late game closing when the game doesn't go over 30 minutes.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah.
I like the draft. I really like the draft. I think normally there's not much inherently wrong with what H2K actually ended up with. I think every lane, you can argue, at least on H2K's side of things, would normally be a valuable pickup. But when you give away, like, there's an Echo matchup, this Swain matchup that does Cabochard play it? You have to ask that question before the game. Yes, turns out he does. It means that this Vitality draft was very smart up against what normally would be a good draft out of H2K for a lot of the components.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen teams put H2K on the back foot by throwing them curveballs, by doing strange things. Sometimes it's in the gameplay, sometimes it's in the pick and ban. And Vitality have now managed to do that, and that was the end of it. So excellently played by them. And with Vitality and H2K at 1 game apiece, we are going to send it over to the analysts for a closer look at how it all happened.
Thank you very much, Pyra. Gotta say, great game coming in from Vitality. It felt like it was pretty clean from start to finish.
Yeah, I feel bad about our intro now because it was like 2-0 H2K. Vitality
they're not playing for much. How clean can they close? Okay, so we were, I was going to say a little wrong, probably a lot wrong about Vitality. It was some other casters. Yeah, definitely not us. But this is great growth that we see coming in from them, and it feels like the guy that we have to accredit for this is Joko.
Oh, yes.
In the early game. This man is a fiend in the jungle.
I mean, last game as well, he was great. This one, he gets the Graves. This is a replay of them killing Nexus because that's what the game is all about. But this is level 1.
This is how it started.
Not about Joko, but then now, you know, you got your lanes pushing in, Joko invades. You think he's gonna get caught, but no. He's taking down Jankos already. He then continues to move around the map, set up more plays. This was Hachani with Nuke Dog as well. Like, once Joko got an advantage, it was like the entire team was suddenly like, hey, we can make plays.
And I feel like it's that sweet justice coming in for Nuke Dog. Because you remember when he played Zed against H2K, and Red Smite saved Yankos' life 3 times?
3 times, I remember.
Joko walking away while Red Buff is taking it down and living, that feels like sweet karmic justice coming in. But you can see Pickban on the bottom of your screen now, and this is something I wanted to ask you about. I feel like Vitality focused very much on drafting laners that their team was comfortable with, laners that would win. How important is that for the meta right now?
I mean, if you get 3 pushing lanes, that's always fantastic, super, super important, especially if you have a jungler who can invade. Graves is one of the absolute best junglers when it comes to that, like fighting within all these small walls in the jungle itself. He has mobility, so he can also get out if he goes in a little bit too deep. So Graves is always very good there when you have these pushing lanes, and that's fantastic. But another thing about the draft as well that I've noticed more and more is a lot of teams can pick these 1-3-1 comps, like where we mean like these split pushing comps. Echo was in one side lane, Swain had the other side lane. And if you get that early advantage because you focus so much on getting that lane push, you can really snowball the game fast in a very simple way as well, because it's effectively each lane just pushing down like they've done from level 1, and they can just keep doing it. So Vitality in this game here, because they had the Echo getting an advantage, they had the Swain winning lane pretty easily against Camille, had guaranteed winning side lanes outside of laning phase. They didn't have to play around slow pushes. They didn't have to play around like specific Baron setups because they were just getting such a huge advantage from having lane push from the get-go and then use that to split push later. And it was actually really well executed by them, something we haven't seen from Vitality all split long.
So I'm curious, we've talked a lot about Vitality, and obviously an insanely good game coming in from them, something that they should be proud of, but on the side of H2K, their composition isn't without strengths of its own. I mean, what had to change in this H2K early game really to come up in this game, to not fall behind so very quickly?
I mean, first of all, you can maybe turn that 2v2 around we saw at the Raptor camp where Joko stays alive. If H2K is able to nuke him down very quickly, it sets him behind, gets over double buff for them, and they might be able to slow down the early game a little bit because they were looking just for a much, much slower early game. Swain as a laner will push, will be aggressive. Level 6 Camille with a jungle gank from Elise, you can kill the Swain. But they never got to that point because they fell behind so early. So what always happens as a jungler is when your team is getting pushed into your own turrets, you lose the vision. And then you can't see where the enemy jungler is. You don't know if someone is roaming. And whenever you go for a gank, there's a chance the enemy jungler shows up. And then he will kill you. This is why in solo queue, the whole classic, we're losing all 3 lanes, where's our jungler? It never works because if that jungler does anything, there's a high chance he will just die as well. And it'll just make it worse.
It's so hard because it's Elise, nonetheless, right? This is
she has to do something.
This is the queen of the early game, but if she falls behind, she can't do anything. So is there more that Jankos could have done, or are you just limited at that point by the pick that you have in the sense that you don't have a whole lot of control in that stage of the game?
I think you're very limited due to your lanes getting pushed in, not winning that early skirmish, and then also, of course, having an early game focused jungler. I don't think a late game focused jungler would have changed much. Like, we have this Baron fight where it was kind of like the last chance. They were already 10k gold down. Had there been a Gragas, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Well, let's take a chance then to look at that Baron fight to kind of break it down, as this was the last ditch effort, the last hope moment coming in for H2K.
We're just celebrating Vitality here, honestly. This team almost never gets a Baron. They actually have the lowest amount of Barons in the entire league, and that is on teams like Origin, who's obviously gotten 8 Barons in one series, but still. They finally set up for this one after been pushing lanes forever. They execute it down, you know, they kill it. They even managed to get it down before Jankos could get in there for a potential steal. And then the classic leave AD carry behind, just get out of the Baron pit. But they're so far ahead at this point that no matter what H2K did, it felt like there's just no way back in the game unless Vitality would literally throw the game, like, completely.
Which does not feel possible when you have a 10 to 15k gold
Well,
lead.
Dignitas yesterday did their best, and they managed to achieve it.
All right. Well, NA LCS aside, very interesting to see maybe Vitality going to be able to take this series in the end. But when we come back, we'll jump into Game 3 between H2K and Vitality. Stick around.
Vitality yelping.
So much flesh. So much flesh.
Is Joko in some trouble? Nuke already coming across the way. I think they may just end up killing Jankos here. He's still is quite low friend.
Yeah, but so is Joko right now. Has to back off, and the fangs don't do enough damage. Joko lives.
And he done that. That is not good.
Cocoon on Achani before flashing away. There's the Ash Arrow, and they find Jankos, and Joko blows him away.
Everyone does another camel shot.
Oh, no, it's the Swain Crowstorm! For a kill. Oh, and they've caught Shay. Joko, oh man, they just pincer him here with Steel back in the back there. Nuke Duck focusing on to Nuclear as Joko's picking up a rampage kill. Look, the Baron's going low. It is smited down, but will they secure the fight? Jankos falls right in the beginning. Hachani trying to live, but he goes down. Cabochard goes golden, and he goes right back in to try and clean up this fight. Febivin gets a big shutdown, but he's taken down himself as Che flashes away. It is a 2 for 3, but Baron secured by Vitality. Here comes the Ash Arrow. Odo's going to have to flash it, but the rest of the team is not so lucky. Nuclear burning down to 0. A double kill for Joko as he takes down Che. Great game out of Vitality. Excellent. They roll the snowball all the way to the finish line, and who'd have thunk it, Stress? We got a Game 3 as Vitality tie up the series.